Hi, welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk, this Tuesday edition of Focal Point. And I want to talk with you for a few minutes about something that Eric Holder communicated yesterday, which is alarming. I want to mention something to you first. This is kind of a great story about the Bible. We just read about the law of the Lord is perfect. Who knew it could save your life from a race-based lynching? Here's a story out of Newsmax. Police in Southwest Ohio were seeking 3 men Tuesday in the shooting of a transit bus driver they say survived with the apparent help of a biblical booklet in his shirt pocket. The Regional Transit Authority bus driver told police Monday he was standing outside the vehicle when the men shot at him 3 times. This was another one of those race-based black small gang mob violence thing. These were 3 black men. They came up. He's a bus driver standing outside his bus. They shoot him 3 times. One of the bullet hit his leg. Ricky Wagner told police he fought back and the men ran away after he stabbed one with a pen. So they got guns. He's defending himself with a fountain pen. In a 9/11 call, Wagner said he felt 2 shots to his chest, but he didn't think the bullets got through the booklet in his shirt pocket. The 2 small caliber bullets hit the booklet called The Message. This is the paraphrase of the Bible by Eugene Peterson. So 2 of the small caliber bullets hit the booklet and did not penetrate the booklet to go into his heart. It just feels like I've been hit with a sledgehammer, Wagner said on the 9/11 call. I've got a book in my pocket, and I don't think they made it through this book. So he's in the hospital recovering from his injuries, which include a stab wound to the arm, but his injuries are not life-threatening. So indeed, the word of the Lord is perfect. Now, what I want to talk with you about for a few moments is this alarming communication from Eric Holder yesterday, and I'm looking at the New York Times from yesterday, and the heading of the piece is that Eric Holder sees the way to curb bans on gay marriage. We're still waiting to hear, by the way, whether Jan Brewer in Arizona will sign or veto the religious liberty bill in Arizona. This is a bill, remember, that will protect wedding vendors, Christian wedding vendors in Arizona, from being thrown into jail or fined because they can't lend their support to same-sex weddings. It's a very, very important bill. It's a good bill. There's tremendous pressure coming against Jan Brewer. The NFL is pressuring her. The Super Bowl is going to be held in Arizona next year. The Super Bowl committee is pressuring her. Apple Computer is pressuring her. I got a list of all the people that are trying to dump on Jan Brewer and get her to sign this thing. The Arizona Cardinals, the NFL football team, a whole bunch of chambers of commerce. Apple is getting ready to open a new factory in Arizona, so they are going after Jan Brewer. You know, getting back to this tolerance thing before I finish up my comments about Eric Holder, remember that the left has always been the ones that have talked to us about tolerance. Now we discover that they are absolutely intolerant of Christianity. They are tolerant of anything and everything else, but they are absolutely intolerant of Christianity. So these paragons of tolerance have no room in their world. There's no room at all for the expression of Christian values, Christian truth in the public arena, and they're making it clear. They want to throw Christian bakers and Christian florists and Christian photographers in jail, or they want them fined. They want them punished in some way by the state if they will not endorse, promote, sanction, participate, enable same-sex ceremonies to take place. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just tyranny. That is raw anti-Christian bigotry, hatred, and tyranny. You know, and I've got an article here by Matt Lewis from dailycaller.com. The title of his piece is When Did Leave Us Alone? Remember, that's what we heard from the homosexual community. Leave us alone. Keep your nose out of our bedrooms. Well, that's fine. If they were willing to keep what they did behind closed doors, keep it in the bedroom, nobody would be bothering them. Nobody has any interest in launching raids to send the police into people's homes to try to find people in flagrante. Nobody's got any interest in doing that. So if they were willing to keep it in the bedroom, which is what they say they want to do, nobody would be bothering them. We would not even be having their discussion. But what they are doing is taking what they do in the bedroom and they are taking it into bakery shops. They're taking it into flower shops. They're taking it into photographer studios and demanding that Christian businessmen in those places of business endorse, support, promote, sanction what they do. So they're the ones that have brought their conduct, their behavior, their lifestyle choices out of the privacy of the bedroom into the streets and now into businesses. And so leave us alone, which was their original mantra, has now become bake us a cake. So leave us alone has turned into bake us a cake or else. That is the gay lobby. Now, Matt Lewis, this is an important thing because this is something I've been saying now for a long time. And finally, somebody else is saying the same thing. He says this: we have reached a point in the gay rights debate. Well, I think we've been at this point for a long time, so he's late to the party in my estimation. But he says, we have reached a point, this is Matt Lewis, Daily Caller, we have reached a point in the gay rights debate where all the low-hanging fruit has been picked. We are now entering into the zero-sum phase of the debate. Now, zero-sum means that if somebody wins, somebody else loses because everything has to balance out to zero. So this is a zero-sum game, Matt Lewis says, from now on, where gay rights and religious liberty must collide. In other words, the cake is only so big. If you take a piece, you are guaranteeing the other guy has less cake. And I submit to you that that's what this is all about. This is all about the reality that every advance of the gay agenda comes at the expense of religious liberty. Every forward step that the homosexual lobby makes comes at the expense of Christian liberty and the free exercise of religion in America. Now, Eric Holder, and I mentioned this before, but I think the gay lobby has pretty much given up on the American people. They know that the American people are not with them. That's why they're not going to the ballot box to try to get these marriage laws and these constitutional amendments overturned. Why not? Because they know they won't win. If they put this issue before the people, remember, we've been over this before. Peter Sprague, Family Research Council, looked into the states that had actually voted for same-sex marriage. And there's 3 of them. In all 50 states, 3 of them and 3 only have actually gone to the ballot box and voted for same-sex marriage in their state. And the total number of people that live in those 3 states comprise 4.5% of the population. So 4.5% of the population of the United States live in a state where the people themselves have gone to the ballot box and said, we want same-sex marriage in our state. So where are they going? They know all the low-hanging fruit is gone. So now they are going to the courts. They're counting on judicial tyranny. They're counting on judicial tyrants wearing black robes who are unelected, who are unaccountable, who can do whatever they want, as often as they want, as long as they want, because nobody right now, there are no conservatives, politicians that have the courage to stop them. So that's where they're going. They're counting on these judges to override and overturn the will of the people. We've already seen that 5 attorneys general, 5 of them, attorneys general in states that have marriage amendments that define, it's in their state constitution, not just a law, but in the Constitution, define marriage as a union of one man and one woman. And 5 of these attorneys general said, I'm not going to defend it. I am not going to discharge my sacred oath, the oath that I swore before Almighty God to uphold the laws and the Constitution of this state. I'm not going to do it. I refuse to fulfill the sacred oath that I took before Almighty God. And now here is Eric Holder saying, this is New York Times, Attorney General Eric Holder Jr. on Monday injected the Obama administration into the emotional and politicized debate over the future of same-sex marriage bans, declaring in an interview that state attorneys general are not obligated to defend laws that they believe are discriminatory. So he's basically, now there's actually 6, according to this article, 6 state attorneys general, all of them Democrats, have refused to defend bans on same-sex marriage. So now it's the Attorney General. And remember, he refused to defend the Defense of Marriage Act back in 2011. So he's the one that set the pattern. He set the example of this lawless conduct, this absolutely lawless, unconstitutional, illegal, unethical, immoral behavior by the chief attorney of the United States. He is the Attorney General. In other words, here's a guy that's in a position where he is supposed to be an example to all of the other lawyers in the entire country, however many hundreds of thousands of them there are. This is the guy that's at the top of the pyramid. He's supposed to set the pace. He's supposed to set the standard. What's the standard that he has set and his boss, the President of the United States? If there's a law that you don't like, it doesn't fit your particular biases and prejudices. It doesn't matter if that law is valid. Doesn't matter if it's been enacted into law by the constitutionally prescribed process and the legislative process through a Republican form of government. It doesn't matter. I'm not bound by the law. I'm free to make up the law as I go. I'm free to ignore, disrespect any law I don't happen to like. Now, Eric Holder is saying, I think the attorneys general in all 50 states ought to do the same thing. Remember, we've still got 33 states. There are still 33 states where same-sex marriage is illegal, either by a constitutional amendment or by state law. It is illegal in almost two-thirds of the states of the union. And Eric Holder says the way to get rid of normative marriage, the way to get rid of these standards, is just tell the attorneys general, hey, if it gets challenged in court, don't show up. You know, and I will guarantee you, if you don't defend your goal line, the other team is going to score. If you don't show up to defend it, you're going to lose. And so Eric Holder said, look, I want you to throw this fight. Read an article yesterday indicating that the first boxing match between Cassius Clay and Sonny Liston back in 1964, the one that put Cassius Clay on the map, that was in the bag. Sonny Liston threw that fight, refused to come out for the opening bell in the 8th round, made $1 million because he'd worked out a deal with a mobster to throw that fight. He made $1 million. The gangster made $1 million. He got his $300,000 payday, and Cassius Clay gets a reputation. Well, this is what Eric Holder is saying. Look, I want you guys to throw this fight. I want you to throw it. I want you to lay down. I want you to drop to the canvas on a phantom punch. I want you to intentionally lose this battle. So we have an attorney general and a president that are leading us into an absolutely lawless America. Focal Point, AFR Talk.